Until the time that the Clinton campaign approached you, had you been focused on her candidacy? Obviously, you had heard remarks by Mr. Trump that troubled you and things that others had said that troubled you. But did you consider yourself a politically active person at that stage?
Not at all. We are private people, and we have always lived private life. And of course, we have had our political preferences based on issues and based on people that we have in the past voted as Republican. We have in the past voted as Democrats based on our preference and depending on the issues that we feel strongly towards. We had visited some of our friends and some of friends that have small children. And whenever we would go to visit them or they would come to visit us, their children would ask me, because I am an attorney, they would ask me a question: are we going to be thrown out of this country? Are our parents going to be thrown out and we will be left alone here? 5 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old, children will ask that question, and that had bothered us. I would try to assure them that I know law a little bit. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I know the law, that is not true. There are safeguards in the Constitution of the United States, but because of them being scared, that statement would not do any good. Their parents will tell us that they don't do any homework. They say that we go to school and our class fellows bully us and say, well, you're bad people, you will be thrown out of here anyway. So we considered that should we go, we decided that we will go. What we would say, that was the reason that what we said behind those statements, such were the thoughts.
And so then the Clinton campaign comes to you, initially just wanting to do a presentation more about your son, but then as the convention grows nearer, if what I've read is correct, they then begin to ask for more involvement on your part, and then ultimately say, would actually like for you to appear on stage and give remarks. And then did they suggest what you would say?
All those children's worries and our observations were in the back of my mind, so I said, well, let's see if I could write something. And I wrote about 6 pages of my sentiments and my thoughts.
More than 2 minutes.
And I'd read those 6 pages to Mrs. Khan, and she would be watching the clock. It'll be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And she said, this is not going to work. You have to cut it down. So I will trim it and bring it to 10 minutes, not good, 8 minutes, not good, 5 minutes, not good. Finally, we got to about 2 minutes, and that's what was the decision, that I will say those things. Waiving of the Constitution wasn't part of the original speech. It's an interesting story. I have put on the coat and we are ready to walk out of the room, and I am checking my pockets, and I feel that I have something in my pocket, and I pull it out, and of course it was Constitution, and we are walking in the hallway, and I tell Ghazala, Mrs. Khan, that I have this Constitution in my pocket. You think it'll be advisable to pull it out? She said, you shouldn't do that unless you take the permission from them. So I asked the producer in the green room that I want to do this when I make reference to the US Constitution. And this is a senior producer, and he is standing right there. He walks towards me and stands right here, so close to me. And he looks at me and he said, Mr. Khan, are you sure you're going to do this? I said, yes. And his eyes welled. He tells me, he said, do this. This is going to be such an impactful gesture. Do that. Because of his experience, he could tell what impact it will have.